Hey y'all, welcome back to Rolling with Stone. It's Stone here, coming to you guys with a tutorial on how to apply blush. So that's one of those things that we all think is just the simplest thing with makeup. You just put a little bit of color on your cheeks and go. But there's sort of a guideline to applying blush. There's no real rule. There's no real rules, period, in makeup. But there are certain little guidelines and tips that I can give you on applying blush that can maybe change up the way your blush looks, or if you have issues applying blush or don't like the placement of your blush, maybe this video can help you out just a little bit. So I've already applied my foundation and I don't have any blush on at all. So this is one of those videos that's going to probably be just like a couple minutes because it's very simple, but I know a lot of people have questions about blush as far as the placement of blush and everything like that. So I'm just going to grab one of my favorite blushes and I'll show you how I apply my blush. So I'm going to take the color Raisin, which is one of my favorite color blushes by MAC for women of color. So I'm just going to take a Morphe brush that I got in one of my Morphe brush sets, which is this sort of angled blush brush. And I like to use this because, as you can see, it has a slight angle to it. And the way I apply it at a diagonal, it just kind of gives me that, you know, perfect placement. But it definitely doesn't have to be this brush in particular. It can be any fluffy brush as long as it's about this size. You don't want anything huge, like maybe something like this real big, because when you're applying it, it will probably steer you towards applying a little bit too much. So something about this size will probably be pretty nice size to use for blush. So I always just tap a small amount on the brush and then I kind of smile. And the fatty part of the cheek, which is the apple of the cheek, I take it here and I bring it up towards the temples. And you always want to apply very little amount of blush at a time and then just add on for intensity. You can add as you go, because the number one issue with blush on people is probably they apply too much. The color is too intense, especially for their makeup look, depending on what they're going for. So as you can see, this is like a subtle amount, and you guys know I never do heavy blush. It's rare that I do that. I always do it pretty subtle like this, but you can always add more depending on, you know, what your comfort level is. So this is about how much I wear. And once again, I'll show you just a little bit, tap a little bit on the brush, smile, the fatty part of your cheek, and just take it upward lightly. I always apply it very faintly here, and then bring it up, and then you want to kind of like blend out the edges of it because you don't want it to be harsh at all. Just like that. And if you ever realize that you've put too much on any spot, you can just take your powder brush that's either clean or has a little bit of your face powder on it, and you can just go around and tap just to kind of fade it out, and that just kind of like lowers the intensity of the blush. But that's about it for applying blush. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to leave it below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, thank you for rolling with Stone.